welcome to Sewing Chatter. I'm Kristen. So, have you lost track of days yet? I lost an entire week, but I got a lot done, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, it's been a little crazy, but I finally have gotten my sewing energy back, my Sojo. Thankfully, I followed my own instructions of how best to deal with that. Check out my video from last week, and it actually worked. It's always nice when what you suggest works. Yeah, so I started off with just something simple. Cutting out panties, pieces for panties from the Scrundlewear 2.0 by Stitch Upon a Time. Yeah, so I created myself a new work in progress, but at least I went through my scraps, started cutting them out, got a whole bunch of pieces ready to go, and then I did the next thing which I suggested, which was my Juniper joggers for my oldest daughter. Now, I had originally thought I was going to do a much heavier fleece, and then we had a week where I thought spring was coming, so I went with the much lighter fabric, and then we went back to minus 15 Celsius. It was kind of gross. So I wish I'd done warmer for her, but I made this really nice pair of joggers, and it's an athletic fabric. So it's got a really nice brushed finish on inside, so it's really cozy but not crazy warm, which my daughter does really like, which is always a good thing. Though as you can see, there's nothing like trying to take pictures of kids. Sometimes I have to be a little sneaky or just settle for a sketchy picture wherever I can get it. So then I focused on finishing up some of my works in progress. Particularly now that I'm sharing workspace with my husband, I'm needing to get through a bit more of that. Now, weirdly enough, one of my works in progress was doing a number of scrunchies. These are the Made for Mermaid pattern, free pattern. And yeah, I hate to say how long they've been sitting in my works in progress, probably a couple months, just sitting there waiting to be stitched closed. I put the elastic in and I never got around to stitching them up. So my daughter was quite excited because suddenly a whole stash of scrunchies landed on her doorstep. She was very excited. On top of that, very unexciting, I mended some sleepers and pajamas. I didn't feel the need to share them because who really cares about mended clothes? We don't want to do that. That's not fun. That's the half-dos. And so we had to, and so I did them just to get them out of my sewing room, move on. Then on top of that, I finished my mother's tablecloth. That is another project that's been sitting around since before Christmas, waiting. The worst part is it probably took me 15 minutes to finish. I'd already cut it out. I'd gone to her house, I'd cut it out, made sure it's the right size for their circle table, and all I had to do was attach the bias tape and put the elastic in, and it sat there, and it sat there. So it's done. I'm very excited. As you can see, it looks really nice on the table. I'll tell you more about working with that fabric. It's laminated cotton, and I'll be doing a video on that in the next week or two. And then, the new one that I've never done before, but was kind of fun to do, was from a company called Ellie and Mac. Now, I've never done one of their patterns before, but they've been having some really awesome sales, particularly because they know that a lot of people are struggling financially right now. And so they've been having $1 sales, which they normally have on Wednesdays, but the owner has been extending them for a full week and then changing them up and doing the next week a different set of patterns, and the rest of the site is 60% off. I don't know how long she's going to do it for, but it's quite a blessing to be able to have picked up a pattern for $1, just something new, something creative that I can do something that my daughters love, and it didn't cost me any extra money. So first off it's called the Cuddle Tunic, and it is really cute. So this is the one I made for my youngest daughter. The fabric, the flowers, is from Joann's. I have no idea where the accent is from. It's just from my scrap pile. It's a really nice light cotton spandex, but it's got enough fabric that'll keep her warm. She can get crazy hot or crazy cold. She's got one of those weird metabolisms. And it's got this massive pocket. Let me show you this. It literally is a massive kangaroo pocket. And my daughter adores it. She comes walking through, pulling out notebooks and pens and anything else, all her supplies for whatever she's working on. And then she just puts her hands in and just holds them tight. As you can see in the photo, she just hangs out with her hands in her pockets. And so it was very, very cute. And so then my oldest, of course, needed hers. Hers isn't done yet, but it's been started. And she required a lot more of the color accents. So this one's got the green coming out from behind the pocket, along with the edging for the pocket. On top of that, she's wanting the neckband and the waistband to be done in this green as well. Now this fabric as well, the Stars fabric is from Joann's a couple years ago. I'm not sure, once again, where the green fabric comes from. They tend to show up from a variety of places. Once again, it is a nice light fabric. Now the one thing that I did like about this pattern is that they thought ahead far enough that particularly this front has a double layer of fabric plus a whole bunch of gathering. And they were smart enough to include clear elastic so that it shouldn't sag as much, whereas in some, if you just do it without it, you can end up with like a massive sag and it just doesn't hold its shape as well. And we don't want saggy there. Thankfully, I had some clear elastic in my stash. I get mocked for my stash. We crafters, we have to struggle with that. But I didn't have to go anywhere. I had all these stuff. I just pulled it out. Even I was surprised, to be honest. I didn't realize I had clear elastic. So that was great. So yeah, I'm gonna finish off the oldest one's shirt, and that's a size 14. I really appreciate patterns for kids that actually go to size 14, size 16, because my youngest is not a tween yet. She doesn't need to go to the ladies' patterns. So it's really nice to be able to have a kid's pattern that actually goes for a very tall kid. So what have you been working on? Any interesting projects? Have you come across any great sales that have helped you out and come up with something new? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for joining me this week on Sewing Chatter.